But what is most important is that the agency that offers you young people the opportunity to get some kind of loan to pay your fees and whatever, and part of your well-keeping, and you know that is my baby. Indeed, when Mr. Sawyer was not here, I made myself a self-appointed ambassador for this. But this is one of the legacies that the president will be able to point to, because we must give credit to whom it is due. One of the legacies he'll be able to point to at the end of his tenure will always end anyway. And it would be to his credit that this is in place. It's not novel, it's not new. When I was in uni, we had what then was called the Students' Loans Board. And quite some of the politicians running around today wouldn't have been graduates and whatever if it hadn't been for that loans board way back then. So what at some point it was scrapped. Things the loans board was scrapped because, of course, people tampered with it. Most people didn't pay back. But those were the days before the social media and the electronic and all other forms of banking. I remember then that some guys, when they are going for youth corps, you go and pay the clerk at the Students' Loan Board, you give him some money, he gives you the file, and you take the file with you. But we are glad that it is back. You're welcome, Mr. Sawyer. How are you?
Uncle Jimmy.
After so many attempts to get you here.
Well, Uncle Jimmy, I'm so sorry. You know how the schedule is. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. I thought I was banned, actually. But
no, why would you? No, banned at all. See, if you had been monitoring the media, even between then and now, every time an opportunity comes, I'm always pushing. It's very, very close to my heart.
Thank you.
Because, we have a lot of young people who are in despair. Indeed, I remember holding 3 young people who were finding problems paying their fees. They didn't even know. The first problem I encountered is that they pretended not to know that there was anything loans board. But when then they they were apprehensive, and they were saying, we are going to loan. That means that we'll be in debt. I said, yes. But you will only pay back when you start work later. Get this loan first. And so that's what it is. So you can never be banned. That's neither.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Before we go on, I'd like to announce on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm going to host Chief Bode George here at 9:00, and he's going to be talking about 3 main issues. He's going to be talking about Nyesom Wike. He's going to be talking about Jandor, and he's also going to be talking about the development at the Lagos State House of Assembly, being a top Lagosian himself. So those 3 issues are the issues I'll be looking at with Chief Bode George, 9:00 on Tuesday morning. So you don't want to miss it. Let's get down to business. Where are we now with is the response picking up?
Yes, I think it's probably fair for me to say that the response has been picking up from the day we launched on the 24th of May 2024.
Yes.
We've never had a day when we haven't had people apply.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
It's picking up. And look, that's even without major sensitization. But it's picking up. Our platform is working very well. People are getting paid. Most importantly, people are starting to believe that it's not a scam. It's real.
Well, I'd like to tell young people out there, again, even if apply first and see how it goes. Okay, instead of being a skeptic and sitting back and saying, we don't know if it's apply. You don't lose anything by applying.
Correct.
Apply first and see. But the thing is, who is the money disbursed to? The student or the school?
Okay. So there are 2 loans that everyone has an opportunity to apply.
Two?
2 loans.
2 different loans.
Every individual has the option of applying for 2 loans. One is the loan that covers all their institutional charges. So if there are school fees or tuition fees, that's part of that. But as you will know, a lot of the federal institutions don't charge tuition fees, but they have other charges. The state-owned institutions have tuition fees and other charges. So who does the money go to? The money for the institutional loan application goes directly to the institution.
And it covers all charges.
It covers all charges. Now, there's some mischief, I suspect, going on, because we've had some feedback that having covered all the charges as provided to us, not by the student, by the institution. Some institutions will be going back and asking the students for other fees. The fees we pay on behalf of the students is to give them unfettered access to tutorials, seminars, tuition, classes, all of the things, examinations, all of the learning opportunities in the institution are covered once we've paid the institutional charges as provided by the institution. Where does the other money go? The second loan I was referring to is that the students can apply for pocket money for upkeep. This means that they will receive funds, 20,000 naira a month, every month for the session whilst they are in school. Now, the second loan, the one that goes direct to the student, is contingent on them applying for the first loan and receiving it. So we don't pay out money to people who are not in school or whose fees we haven't paid. If they pay the fees themselves, they can't get the upkeep from us. If we've paid the fees on their behalf as a loan to them, they can get the upkeep. It's really that simple. 2 lines of payment, one to the institution, the other to the individual.
So okay, so I'm a student now, okay, and I apply. I apply to Unilag, and so you send all fees to Unilag. So Unilag gives me clearance.
Absolutely, that is the
for the session.
For the session, once we've paid for that session, we send the fees to Unilag on your behalf. I know you like Unilag. You always use it as an example.
It's where I went to Unilag. It's only university.
You are just promoting and advertising.
No, but it's only this gentleman here. He always prays. He always worries me, Uncle Jimmy. How can I go back to school to go to Unilag? Unilag is in school. Unilag. Anyway, so you go to. So I go to Unilag and I get what I think they still have, what you used to call clearance. So what you are saying is that you suspect that there are some universities that are still asking them for other fees.
Yes, well, we've been getting some feedback, from
students.
Yes, and it's not universities. So remember, we cover universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, monotechnics. So it's tertiary education, government-owned institutions. So I don't want to cast the universities in bad light. I'm saying there's some feedback that we're receiving, that having provided us with all the fees that the institutions have provided us with, which we asked them for, to cover everything, to give the students unfettered, unhindered access to the various classes, learning opportunities, examination opportunities, having covered those fees. And remember, it's a debt the students are taking on. They are not required to pay anything else for clearance.
So do you think it's deliberate on the part of these institutions?
Well, I don't want to be judgmental, but if it is out of ignorance, then, we need to have it corrected, because, I cannot sit here and say that somebody has done something deliberately unless I know for a fact and I have evidence. I'm just saying they may not be aware, and we're going to go through a series of iterations soon that will help educate the institution.
But that's it. Even before electronic and all these things, one time that's where it was. If you got bus free or once you come from a particular state, the university doesn't even ask you for anything anyway if you have your letter of admission. Now part of what I'm going to say is going to take a while before the money starts getting recycled. These first recipients, before money starts trickling into the fund again, it will be in close to about 5 years' time.
Yes.
So the government has provided the funding or has a commitment to provide the funding for the 5 years. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I completely understand what you're saying. And I must say that this law is backed by an incredible amount of political will by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. His Excellency has made a commitment and has acted on that commitment to ensure that not only is this fully funded, it's enshrined in the Act, but he's also made some interventions where he's had some funds released to this agency. It's enshrined in the Act. Interventions have been made by the President, and you know that where there's political will, things happen. You know, there's so many laws and so many great ideas in Nigeria. When there's no political will behind it, nothing will happen. But the funds are covered. The commitment from the government is absolute. In fact, the way the act is written and the whole thing is drawn up, even beyond this administration, there will be sustainability. I absolutely am.
How do you get your funding? From Ministry of Education or direct funding?
So the act gives us 1% of all revenues collected by the Federal Inland Revenue.
I see.
So FIRS.
FIRS.
Yeah. Although we haven't had any funding from them yet. The funding we've had so far have been from appropriation. The funding we've had so far has been from TET Fund. TET Fund have given us some money on the directive of the president. And we've also had some funding from the proceeds of crime given to NEL Fund by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, so EFCC.
The more of these bandits that the more money you will get, hopefully.
Well, you know, NEL Fund will get, more importantly, the students will get. So it's not about us, it's about the students. And if people are, you know, if there are proceeds of crime that we can rechannel to a place where it's going to help get people more educated, there's nothing better than that, in my own opinion, Uncle Jimmy. What do you think?
Yes, but we don't want more crime.
We don't want more crime. No, but hopefully we'll have less crime.
Okay, so
and more taxpayers.
On the average, because the skepticism of the students bothers me, on the average, within 4 years, what kind of total debt profile do you think a student will be carrying when he finishes uni?
So, first of all, let me emphasize that the debt is interest-free. The loan is interest-free. It's completely interest-free. So, there is no standard answer to your question. However, let me just do some small computation with you. As of today, students will receive 20,000 naira a month for 12 months. That's 200
holidays inclusive.
So yes, I mean we will pay it monthly. Yes, we'll pay it monthly because even during the holidays, people have assignments, they have things that they need to do, projects and what have you. So the average, all students who are involved in this scheme will get a 240,000 naira
a year
for the session. If they're on a 4-year course, I think that's probably like 480,000. No, mine is 24 times 4. You know, that's 48 times 2.
Are you 24 times 4?
48 times 2. Okay. So we have that. We have that as a fixed amount as of today.
Yes.
So 20,000 naira per year that they receive the loan for the duration per month. Per month. 240,000 per year for the duration, however many years they're doing. So there's that debt profile there. Then we pay the fees. Now, if you're studying medicine, it's very different. The fees are very different if you're studying medicine at IFE, for example, if you're studying English at UniJos. So it really depends. But I would say that averagely, per annum, you know, students will probably be carrying a debt profile of about 700,000 naira. Yeah, if it's a 5-year course, 7 times 5, 35, 3.5 million. But it's interest free, and they never pay back unless they are earning. And even then, it's the onus is on the employer. So it's the friendliest loan scheme in the world.
What kind of time frame do you have to pay back?
So the loan is not tenured. So we don't say, you have 5 years to pay or you have 7 years to pay. It is linked to earnings. So if you don't have a job, you don't pay. If you have a job and you lose the job, you stop paying. Now, once you have a scheme like that, you cannot put a time limit on it. This is a revolving fund. We're a non-profit. So the whole idea is that those who pay back will use those funds to fund those who are coming.
If care is not taken, it's beginning to look like a grant. Because if you say, what if the graduate is now self-employed?
So if the graduate is self-employed, they make a declaration and they pay us. Because, when you're self-employed, effectively you're running a business. You have a company that is probably registered with the CAC, or, you have an entity that is really liable to taxation. So they pay back themselves. If they don't pay as self-employed, then they are treated the same way as a company that doesn't remit on behalf of the employee is treated, which means it's effectively a criminal offense. If you are self-employed, you are making money and you're not returning money that you borrowed. Actually, we can do one of two things. We can either take the money from your account, which we have access to, or we can actually sanction you, get one of the law enforcement agents.
So, of course, so at the point of applying, you're thinking of things like BVN and NIN and all these you would have.
Yes, that's a very important element of what we're doing here. Because there is no human interface, we have 261,000 beneficiaries as of today. That's 261,000 Nigerians who are receiving this monthly stipend from us and whose fees we have paid. 261,000. We've never met any of them. Why is that significant? It's significant because nobody is in the way to say, go and bring this or go and bring that. However, what we do, the system that we run, the portal that runs says, go and bring this and go and bring that. And it's never cash. Go and bring your BVN, go and bring your NIN, go and bring your JAMB, go and bring your matric number. Those things are put into the system, and our system checks it out. If it matches with what we have in the system, we're API to all the various institutions. Those are the demands we make. The other thing about that is that no two people in this country, no two people have the same BVN, the same JAM, the same NIN, the same matric number. So it's a unique identifier, and that's really important to us.
And the penalty for not meeting up is what?
Meeting up with what?
The penalty for not what's the word I want to use now? Oh, there's no tenure. So
yeah. So you're talking about, there are two issues here. One is default. So if you don't pay, i.e., not the student, if the organization that the company that employs you doesn't pay,
how does the company that employs you know that?
So we're developing a database currently, and it's going to be heavily NIN based. And I want to thank NIMC, the National Identity Management Commission, and its DG for being so supportive of this program. We are going to, that's Engineer Bisoye Koka. The idea is that the organizations that are employing people, much like NYSC ask for a certificate, will go to a site. They will enter the NIN number of the person that they are trying to employ. And that will give them an indication that that person has a loan and that loan is still active. It is based on that they will be obliged to make those
no
repayments.
company should employ anybody without clearing with the, what did you call it now?
The NIN. So yes, there'll be a database that is NIN based. Yes, because everybody has
just like for youth service.
Yes,
you don't employ anybody unless you gain clearance. What about self-employed? What's the obligation of the graduate now?
So if the graduate is self-employed, the obligation is to declare that I have a company and I am employing myself. Because that's effectively what you're doing when you're self-employed. Yes. You have an entity. It's a legal entity. It's not you. It's a legal entity. That legal entity employs you as the managing director, the chairman, the chief executive, whatever you want to call yourself. It employs you. Therefore, you are technically taking a salary from that entity. It is from that salary that the 10%, which is what we ask companies to remit, only 10% is remitted to the
only
NEL
10%.
Fund. Only 10%, because people still have to reinvest in their businesses. They have to reinvest in their lives. You know, if they're earning 100,000, we ask for 10,000 back into the fund. Every month if they are monthly paid.
So if it's going to take you 5 years, so be it. It's not tenured.
It's not tenured. So there's no, it's not like, you owe 750 until you finish paying it. It doesn't. That's not how the system runs. It's a revolving fund.
Okay.
And I heard you say it's sounding like a grant. It's a very friendly loan. Very friendly.
It sounds like a grant.
It sounds like it, but it's a very friendly loan, and it's deliberate. We want people to know it's a loan so that they can focus on the right course, the right institution, and make good use of the money. People always make better use of money that they've borrowed than money that they've been given.
Is there any hope? This is a big one now, that it would apply to private universities. That's a lot of money.
So let me say a couple of things here. First of all, the Nigeria Education Loan Fund has been set up as an agency under an act which excludes private. The managing director of NEL Fund, chief, call the title whatever you want to. I don't have the power to suddenly go and change the law or breach the law. So that question is a political question. And I know that when I had conversations with the President Tinubu, he said specifically that this loan scheme, this opportunity must be open to all Nigerians. So I know that in his own mind, he wants to open it up. However, we are working with government-owned institutions for two reasons. Number one, we believe that the government-owned institutions need they need investment. A lot of them have become run down. I know that TED Fund has done a lot to help. However, we need to put more into the government-owned institutions. That's where most people go. However, I recognize that if there was no gap in the first place, there would be no private institution. There would be no private universities, no private polytechnics, no private college of education. These people came in, invested good money to fill a gap. Okay? And they have to be profit-making to a large degree. But unfortunately, we have to address the people who need this thing most. And we don't find many of them in private institutions, educational institutions.
Okay. 9:22, we're going to go on break in 3 minutes, right? We're going to open up our lines now, 0201-277-0993. And then the other line, the female line, 0201-465-7190. And the WhatsApp line is 0809-597-5805. We're on YouTube and Facebook Live. So we're seeing worldwide. Do we have a call there? Hello, good morning. Quickly.
Good morning.
Morning, quickly.
My question or observation is, after this student graduated, sorry if I call them Omo Joba, and like we have some shortcomings in some professional lines, like the medicals. Is there a format or regulation that can give them employment directly from the school? Is there anything like that? Thank you.
No, I think... Okay, you answer him.
Okay, so thank you for the question. It's a good question because, the truth about it is that everybody wants to know what next. You've taken the loan, you've graduated. What next? It's a legitimate and fair question. We are not able to employ people outside of the people that we employ to help us run the organization that we're running. However, we recognize the fact that people need jobs. So we are setting up a job portal. We're going to consolidate, attract, and bring in jobs from everywhere onto that portal so that we can preferentially allow those who have loans to apply through our dedicated portal for jobs.
Okay. We're going to take a short break and then we'll be right back.
News and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
The holy month of Ramadan is upon us. As we embark on this journey, let's not forget to show love through sharing. This Ramadan, stay ahead with Dairy Power from Suhoor to Iftar. Join us every Monday to Friday as we explore the spiritual and physical benefits of the month, plus exciting recipes. Catch us on our YouTube page, Kolanda Dairy Nigeria, and on Dadin Kowa, Faranwata, Sunna TV, Arewa TV, and African Magic Hausa TV stations. Ramadan Mubarak from Hollandia.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Grand Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more. Register now and take your stand. Your time to shine is now at hand.
Registration is ongoing on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
And Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
It's Ramadan. Come on board. Let's go on a tour to the top restaurants where you can enjoy the best of the season. First up is Charity Cafe. Here, the currency is sharing, so keep giving. Next up is Kindness Bistro. Be the kindest you can be. Last but not least, make a stop by at Forgiveness Drive-Thru and let go of every beef. And at Sahur and Iftar, bring it home with the goodness of great tasty meals with Noor.
This Ramadan, don't just eat for good. Share the good all day. Knorr, share the good.
So creamy, so good. Aisha, why do you have so many tins and sachets of cowbell?
Oh, it's what I plan to share this Ramadan.
My sister, you can start by sharing some with me now.
Oh yeah, take. It's Ramadan after all. In this holy month, share the nourishing goodness of cowbell with friends and family. It contains vitamin B9, Vitarich, and it's so creamy, so good. Ramadan Kareem.
Cowbell of creamy goodness.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
The Discourse with Jimi Disu.
The Discourse with Jimi Disu
continues in a moment.
You're welcome back to the Discourse with Jimi Disu, brought to you by MTN. And I still have Mr. Akin Sawyer, who is the managing director of Nelfund. I got it. Yes. I got it. I keep mixing it up with telephone. Yes. And it's been a very interesting discussion. I have a reaction here from Robert. Yeah. Robert says, good morning, Uncle Jimmy. Sir, please ask your guest, if a child that has gained admission to the university who is not yet 18, because I understand until you are 18, you won't have BVN or NIN. How does such a child apply?
Okay, so there's a good reason why you don't have BVN or NIN. In Nigeria until you're 18.
Yeah,
you cannot enter into a loan agreement under the age of 18. It is unfair. As a responsible lender, people have to reach a certain age to be mature enough to be able to actually enter into such a contract. So unfortunately, if you're under 18, we can't do it. It becomes a null and void.
Let me use this opportunity to throw you under the bus.
Yes, please. I love being under.
I believe very strongly that you shouldn't be admitted to university until you're 18. I wonder what you think. It's not part of your brief. If you think it's going to cause wahala for you, you can pass it over.
So I have a personal view.
Yes, a personal view.
I have a personal view. So
yes, a personal view.
Yes. First of all, let me just layer it by saying to you that there are two issues here. First of all, there are people who are especially gifted in all societies.
Yeah.
You will find a 10-year-old who can do things that a 50-year-old mathematician cannot do. What do you do with those people? You have to have some sort of incubator for such people. Now,
I like that word.
You have to. This is what happens. There are schools for gifted children all over the world. We need to start thinking about that here. Nothing to do with Nelfund, but we need to think about it. The flip side of it is that if people start to get into university at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, they start to mix with adults.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain things that adults do that children shouldn't get involved in. So again, you have to protect the rights of children by not throwing them into an environment where they're exposed to things that they shouldn't be exposed to at too early an age. I don't know if that answers your question. But
it does.
My view is
in a very diplomatic way.
Well, yeah, there are just two schools of thought. One, how do you handle people who are especially talented? We need specific institutions for that and instruments. Second, why throw people because they're gifted into an environment where they're exposed to things that can destroy their gift?
So I have one more supporter. Okay, what's this other question? Yeah, this Nelfund. Okay, Uncle Dede, good morning, sir. Please ask your guest if I can benefit from the loan as a UNILAG student. I have a paper to rewrite in my MSc, but finance has hindered me since 2022. to rewrite, that means that is made a first attempt, or to put it in simple language I grew up with, is repeating.
Yes. And look, there's no shame in that.
I didn't say there's a shame, but will you give him the money?
No, we won't. We won't. And the reason is very...
So why did you first of all say that?
No, there's no shame. No, the point I was trying to make is that, there's no shame in repeating. Everybody has repeated something or the other. However, we're a fund. We're managing money. And the objective of the president is that we should find the indigent, those who are looking for their first opportunity first. Where if we start giving money to people doing PhD, rewriting, MSc, and all of these things, we will eventually run out of money. It's not there's a finite, funds are finite. So we're looking for people who really need this. First rung on the ladder, undergraduate, indigent, so if we can't really begin to expand until we've sorted those people out.
If you are going to access NEL Fund, you must finish your course within its tenure. Is that right?
Not quite. So let me explain what I mean by that. If you have a 4-year course or a 3-year course,
yes.
If you fail, we will not provide you a loan to repeat. We're not looking for professional students. However, the reason I'm being careful with that is because let's say you go into an institution, a university, a polytechnic, a college of education, and then you take a year out. You pass though, or you take a year out and you want to go and rejoin the year after.
Do we have that here?
For a variety of reasons.
Medical reasons. Maybe.
Medical, people may get an opportunity to go and get job experience somewhere. I don't quite know how it's structured in the institutions. However, even if it's not that way, we should begin to think like that, because there is no harm in taking time out of an institution to go and study or to go and get some sort of additional qualification, perhaps learn a craft, and then come back and carry on where you left off. If that happens, we will carry on providing the funding as long as they are not repeating a year. You know what I mean? They have to be progressing through the institution.
Okay, I use myself as an example. I first of all went to UniBen, got kicked out, and then went to Unilag.
Yeah.
If I had taken that loan when I was in UniBen, where would I be?
So if you'd taken that loan when you were in UniBen, first of all, you'd still be liable for the loan. You'd need to pay the loan back. If you go and restart somewhere else, you can apply again.
Okay.
You can apply again. However, our scoring of your application will be lower than those who are applying for the first time.
But will I get the whatever? That's it.
The what?
Will I get the money?
I use the word scoring. I said scoring. You
So
score.
it's not everybody who applies that gets it. You are scored.
We have to score people. The truth about it is that there are some criteria. The institution you're going, and by the way, over time, we'll even begin to score people based on the courses they're doing. Because you know what? The funds will begin to need us to have a closer look at who's applying. At the moment, we're being fairly lenient. As time goes on, we're going to have to do things that favor the nation, that give people money for courses that they can get jobs, so that they can begin to pay back. We can't take a gunshot approach forever. At the moment, we recognize that people are about to drop out. So we're saying whatever course you're on, whatever situation you're in, we don't know. So we will provide you with a loan. But as time goes on, we will need to fine-tune it.
What about if you're a fresher?
Yes.
You can, just with your JAM results, letter of admission, you can apply.
Most certainly.
Yes.
For the first time, when we kicked this scheme off on the 24th of May, it wasn't the beginning of an academic session. So we just invited applications for those who are already in the institution. Now we're moving into a new academic session. The answer to your question is, if you're a fresher, you can apply with your JAM, your admission number, your you wouldn't have matriculated necessarily, but your JAM, your admission number, your NIN, your PVN. Come and apply, please. We're pleading with you. It is really the freshers that we want to help. It's just that we had to start with something, and we had to be careful to ensure that people who are about to drop out. And there was a lady I met the other day in in Edo State. She was in her 4th year of medicine, and she was about to drop out. The fees had gone up and everything. We gave her a loan, and she's now going to complete her course and become a doctor.
I'll let you run a free commercial for the sake of our young people.
Yeah.
How can they access? Give us the details.
Okay.
How they can access? This? What's the website?
Yeah.
Or telephone
Thank you
numbers
very
or
much. So if they have their devices in front of them, they can do it right away, or they can get a pen and a piece of paper and write down www.nelf.gov.ng. May I repeat that?
That's all.
www.nelf.gov.ng. Go to that site and apply. I'm not appealing, or I'm not requesting, or I'm begging you. If you need to get this loan to relieve your parents and to stay in school, go to that site and apply for this loan now.
What are the fears that have been expressed to you? I know you've gone on tour of the country, and in your interaction with young people, what is the main fear they have expressed that you'd like to address?
Well, I think for some of them, it's, what is the debt burden? What does the debt burden look like? What will life look like in the future? In certain parts of the country, debt is something that people abhor. They just don't like the thought of owing. Yeah. And the answer to it is very simply this. If you can afford to pay for something yourself, pay for it. We're not forcing a loan onto anybody. However, if you're going to borrow money for anything, don't borrow it for a cow. Don't borrow it for a house. Borrow it for education. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
The education will continue to grow. It will continue to bring income for you. It will secure your future and the future and the futures of your offspring. That's what education does. So that's the first thing. Debt burden is one fear. There are other fears, like, so in some communities, if they die and they have a debt, it's ungodly. The Loan Act, the law, means that it says that the loan is forgiven if someone dies in the event of the greatest.
You can't go grabbing from heaven anyway.
No, and we won't come after family and say, okay, this person must pay, or
do you ask for things like next of kin and things like that?
We don't. We do not.
Don't.
No,
Okay.
this loan is entirely,
and no guarantors.
No guarantors. No, because once you start putting guarantors into the system, you know how it is now. I'll go and bring X thousand.
Yes.
I'll guarantee you, somebody will create a nice business and will make millions off the backs of young, innocent people.
Once you have the BVN and the name, it becomes. I have good news for you. This is Lawal from Ikorodu.
Okay.
And he says, good morning to you and your guests. My daughter is a beneficiary of the program. The school fee was paid and the stipend was paid once last year. I don't know what it means by once. Is it paid cumulatively?
No.
It's paid every month.
It's paid every month.
But he said it was paid once last year.
That's odd.
Ever since, nothing has been paid.
That is not good news.
Yes,
that is something that I would like Lawal from Ikorodu to please escalate to our help desk.
Okay.
So there's a button on there's a tab on the website that says contact us.
Yes.
Please raise a ticket. I need to understand what this is all about.
Okay.
The fees are paid. The stipend is paid monthly.
He says that it was paid once. Ever since nothing has been paid, why can't the stipend be paid up front or twice a year? Better still quarterly.
So, it's great to have these sorts of ideas, and the truth about it is
and sorry, sir. Sorry, Mr. Sir.
Yes.
It says, I hope the unpaid stipend will not be added as loan collected.
No, I mean, there is a dashboard. Mr. Lawal, your daughter will have a dashboard, and it will indicate to her every time that she's been paid. We will not ask people to make repayments based on things that amounts they didn't collect.
Yes.
But it is really important that these sorts of things are escalated. I don't understand why this would happen, because it's automatic once you start to receive the stipend. But to address another question that was raised now, why don't we pay it quarterly? Why don't we pay? We're not trying to give people capital to go and start a business. I don't want people to be taking money and going to buy Okada when they should be in class studying, or going to buy, hair dryers to be able to help. The reason we're doing this is because we want people to go to class, and we want them to have some funds so that they can go to class every month.
So it will be at the end. Is there a fixed date that you should expect an alert or something? Is it 30th, 29th, or it's just the end of the month?
So eventually we will harmonize a fixed date, but it's important to remember that we've been receiving applications every day since the 24th of May. And the way our process works, we can't say, the person that applied on the 25th of May should wait for the person that applied on the 25th of November. So we are processing as they come in. Institutions have different start dates. Some people in this country, because of the strikes and the stoppages at various institutions over the years, are in different sessions. Some are in 2023, 2024 session, 2022, 2023. So eventually, when we get some harmonization going on around start dates of institutions and even windows of application, we'll be able to say, look, we will pay everybody on this date. And if you don't get your money on this date, there's a problem. Shout. But at the moment, we are responding to the needs as they come along. So even though we've got some standardization, it cannot be standard across the board because of the staccato effect of people.
Okay, I think we have another caller here. Yeah. Hello, good morning. Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Can you turn down your radio or just switch it off, please? So we can hear you.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
To your guest in the studio, I wanted to ask, is there an age limit for people that can apply? I know for people going in, you need to be above 18. But say you're already in school, so I have a nephew who's in school and is like 30. And so I want to ask, is there an age limit for people that can apply?
Thank you.
Not just that, I might decide to go and read law.
Sure.
Would you be giving a 70-year-old man?
Sure. So look, if you want to read law, at 70,
yes,
it's great. And again, like I said before, there shouldn't be an age limit for learning. We're all learning, right?
Yeah.
And so for us, though, 70% of Nigerians are under the age of 35.
Yeah.
Many of them with nothing to do. Why, Uncle Jimmy, would I give you money to go and study law at 70?
I'm indigent.
No, you may be indigent, but you are not 35 and you are not unemployed.
But I'm indigent.
Yeah, you are indigent, so we will score. I use the word scoring. We will score and we won't score you highly. No, you've probably built it.
Poor pensioner.
You had an opportunity to build a house, you just didn't build it. That is not our problem now, Uncle Jimmy.
So there's so there is an age limit, really.
There is. So 35 is really a cutoff for us. But having said that, it's a guideline. It's not in the law. So we will adjust that as we move forward. However, it is important to help the young people get on the ladder. Young people have been sidelined for too long. Over the age of 35, really, most people would have had the opportunity. Not all. Some people haven't had it. So we'll look at those ones on a case-by-case basis. But we're very interested in young people under the age of 35.
Okay. I was going to ask, is the Open University part of this?
So one of the criteria that we have is that you must have entered the institution using JAMB. And you must be attending a full-time course.
So Open University is out.
So if you're attending a full-time course, and you've gained admission through JAMB, you don't have a problem with us. It doesn't matter which university it is. If you haven't, then unfortunately our guidelines exclude you as of today.
Does this loan cover? Oh, that's the question I just asked now. Okay, let's pick that call again. Mr. Robert, there's no collateral. We said that
Hello,
earlier.
sir. Good morning, sir. Uncle Jimmy.
Morning.
My name is Malik from Ota.
Hey, Malik. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Sir, I want to know if it is for only federal institution. What about state institution?
Can I address that?
Yes, quickly. Yes.
Malik from Ota, thank you for your question. Thank you for your... Hello?
Go on.
Anyway, I hope you can hear me. Malik, this is for tertiary institutions owned by federal or state governments. Universities, polytechnics, colleges of education owned by any of the 36 state governments or the federal government. If either of these entities are the owners, that's who it's eligible for.
I have an odd question here. Somebody who is on a scholarship is asking if he can apply.
Anybody can apply. However, if you're on a scholarship, particularly if it's a full scholarship, and you apply, we will prioritize those who don't have a scholarship.
Would they have to declare that it's on the scholarship?
It would have to declare that they're on a scholarship. If they don't, then of course they wouldn't be breaking the law. It is a loan. So if you have a scholarship and you still want a loan, it's fine. It's a voluntary process. However, the NEL Fund holds the discretion of prioritizing those who are in need over those who may not be. Now, to get a scholarship, you have to be clever. You have to be a smart person.
Yes.
We don't want to discriminate against smart people. Remember I talked earlier about how we capture those who are gifted.
Yes.
We don't want to throw away the baby with the bathwater. We will eventually come to a place where we will be able to sift and see who really needs the additional support. If somebody has a scholarship and the scholarship is not allowing them to attain their best, why wouldn't we give them a loan to be able to do that? They may be the rescuer of Nigeria in the future. We don't know. But these questions are not black and white. We want to be intelligent about what we're doing. We want to be dynamic about what we're doing. We don't want to say yes, no, this, that. We're still learning. We're still trying to, build a nation, if you like, through President Tinubu's initiative.
I wonder what this person means by asking if the loan is open to direct entry students. Direct entry students are still going through JAMB anyway.
I mean, what does that mean? If they're going through JAMB, the criteria is very clear. If they're in through JAMB, they're matriculated or they have an admission number, they're doing a bona fide accredited course in a bona fide accredited institution owned by the federal or the state government, they can get it. I'm not sure where the question is leading. But
okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Jimmy.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Sawyer. My name is Lola. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Yes.
I had a nephew at Tai Shulari University of Education, and he applied since last year. And to date, he has not, I don't know, I've asked him several times that, is the cost from NEL Fund or is it from your school? So I don't really understand what's happening between the school and the student.
This is an isolated case, and there's a contact us whatever on the form. It should go. Isolated cases will always have. The fault could be from anybody. It could be from him. Good morning, Uncle Jimmy. What if someone has paid the school fees before getting the loan? Will they refund it?
Okay. So let me quickly address what Lola from Ikeja said. May I do that? Okay. Lola, I very much recognize that for somebody who has applied for the loan and hasn't received it and had no explanation, it's a cause for anxiety. I take these things very, very seriously. Even though most people are getting it, if there's one person that hasn't gotten it and they think they should have, it can be very difficult for that person. I'm going to plead with Uncle Jimmy that, that if he could allow people like you to just give him the information or give the radio station the information, they can pass it on to me personally, and I'll try to understand what this is about. Because we fix it for this person, we can fix it for everybody else. But
the thing is now is that everybody who wants to know is Uncle Jimmy.
Yes, now Uncle Jimmy, you are our uncle.
So I become an agent.
You are an agent. You are an unpaid agent. You are our uncle. You must sort it out. Okay. The second question I made.
Okay. I'd be more than glad to do that.
Thank you, sir.
This is my baby, and I'd be more than glad to do that. What someone paid fees? Okay.
The refund question.
Yes.
So look, it's a really interesting question, an important question. The way this has worked so far. People apply for the loan. We approve it when we deem it fit to approve it. We send the funds to the school. Sometimes there's a deadline that the student has had to make payment to the school before they receive the money from us. Technically, the school should refund the money to the student. It has come to our attention that some schools are not doing that. And we take it very seriously because students are already struggling. Parents are already struggling. And we really need to stop this sort of situation where refunds are being made difficult for people to get. And we're going to address it, and we're going to address it very strictly. There are some plans in the offing which I can't discuss at the moment, but we're looking for really schools that are not making refunds. Students are suffering. They can't even ask or be forceful with the school because they don't want to get into trouble with the school authorities. So some of them are contacting us. We're going to take this very seriously. Refunds must be made to students. We're going to see you will see how we'll tackle that over time.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Very quickly though, somebody is anxious to know if this would continue way beyond President Bola Tinubu's tenure.
Is that a question for me?
Yes. Well, okay. I know the answer, but I want you to.
Okay, great.
Yes, is on the.
Look, the way anything is sustained in the world we live in today, especially within a democracy, is that you have to put systems and structures in place that incentivize subsequent administrations to want to carry it on, that incentivize the general public to want to carry it on. It's about providing structures and incentives or disincentives to those who want to stop something that's good. it's a multifarious thing, and we're looking at various ways of incentivizing future administrations to carry this on and not to politicize it. The education of a nation and the peoples in a nation cannot and must not be politicized. Otherwise, we're heading towards national poverty. It's not something that we can play with. This is education. It's not allocation of oil.
Okay, Mr. We soon have to go. Thank you very much for taking that. He had to come in from Abuja yesterday to meet this appointment, and that we appreciate. We're going to be calling on you in another 2 months, if you don't mind. That this is my baby. And yes, if you have problems that genuine one, please don't rush at me. I'll be more than glad to pass on.
Thank you, Uncle Jimmy.
Yes, more than glad to do that. If that's the least I can do. For young people, I repeat what I said during the week. Stop being skeptical. Okay, stop being skeptical. And this fear of, because I've spoken to some young people, and there's always this fear about loan. And I'm saying that, look, it's when you start work, okay? And he has explained it all. Thank you very much, sir. Remember, on Tuesday, Chief Body George will be here, and we'll be talking about 3 major things. We'll be talking about Wike. We'll be talking about Jandor. And we'll be saying that's politics. So we'll talk about Wike, Jandor, and also what has happened so far to the Lagos State House of Assembly. Also, I'd like to use the opportunity to thank the governor of Lagos State. I hear that we are now the Ikorodu Road, and we're in the process of lighting up Ikorodu Road and Eko Bridge. Hopefully to get to the marina, so that we have won another one by putting pressure on them, and we thank them for listening. We'll see how it goes. Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
Uncle Jimmy. It's been great being here. Thank you very much.
And you'll be back in 2-3.
I'll be back in 2-3 more. One quick thing, Ronke from Ikeja, the TASWED issue. Please prioritize it. I need to understand what's going on there.
What's
that?
TASWED.
Yeah, Taisho Larry.
But she should go directly to the contact form, or to come through.
No, she should come to you, sir.
Please. Hey, Mama,
no, Ejo. That one has gone on for too long. Let's try and sort it out.
Okay, I'll gladly do that.
Thank you, sir.
That's it all. We'll just hang around for the next program that comes on after that, and enjoy your weekend. Sorry? They know how to reach me. My people know how to reach me. I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.